cr101radio.com, podcasts, and more.
28. Blessed are they that hunger and thirst. March the 9th, 1954. Good morning, friends. The Beatitudes, in giving us the conditions of blessedness, tell us first of all that we must be poor in spirit. That is, we must fill our spiritual need and poverty. Second, we must see ourselves as God sees us, as sinners, self-willed, self-centered people, and grieving or mourning over that fact. We have the assurance of His grace and comfort. Third, we are blessed if we are meek, and the meek are the tamed. Meekness is to be tamed by the Lord and patiently to endure His will and respond to His word. The meek life is a harness life, and the harness life is a life of power. This morning, the fourth Beatitude is our concern. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Matthew 5:6. The Bible urges us to be content with our place and station in life and to avoid the restlessness and fever of those who always yearn for something else. But at one point, the Lord places His stamp of approval on discontent. The first four Beatitudes tell us emphatically that we can never be content with God until we are discontented with ourselves. And the fourth Beatitude tells us that if we long more than anything else to be good in the sight of God and in His service, we shall be blessed. We shall be filled with righteousness. The question we need to ask ourselves is this: do we really hunger and thirst after righteousness? There is a cheap answer to this question, which many people give, and it's no good. They declare that they do indeed hunger and thirst for a righteous world, and we can take them at their word. But that isn't the concern of our Lord in this Beatitude. I don't have to be any kind of a man at all to want a good and sound government in Washington, a righteous world, and honest neighbours. It would make my life vastly easier if this community or this world were a righteous one. A man who was, among other things, both a bootlegger and an extortioner, once complained to me about the crookedness of the people he did business with. I had no idea, he told me, how much dishonesty and double-dealing there was in the world. Now, this man was honestly concerned about the sinfulness of man. As far as he was concerned, he would have enjoyed seeing me prosper in my ministry because he wanted to see other people turn honest. But the hunger and thirst for righteousness which he felt was never for himself, and there is no blessedness to such a discontent. Remember how pleased Herod was with John the Baptist's preaching. John declared that public officials should be honest, soldiers should be content with their pay, citizens obedient rather than rebellious, and the religious leaders of the day more concerned about their own waywardness than that of the government. King Herod loved these sermons of John. As far as he was concerned, they were what the country needed. But when John demanded that Herod show righteousness in his own life, especially in his marriage, then it was a different matter, and Herod lost his interest in religion and in righteousness. Too many people today, like Herod, are all for reforming the world, but will not clean up their own lives. Much preaching is of this nature also. This is not the hunger and thirst for righteousness of which our Lord speaks, and any who feel that because they are anxious to see a neighbour or a friend clean up his life or the nation become godly, that they thereby please God and meet the terms of this Beatitude, are fooling themselves and are guilty of Pharisaism as well. To hunger and thirst after righteousness is to realize that we, in our own hearts, are anything but good. It means that we recognize ourselves to be rebels and sinners before God. It means that we recognize our readiness to sin and our laziness, our only occasional desire to be better than we are. It means we understand that in our selfishness we are ready to long for riches, for domestic happiness, for promotion, for success, for everything under the sun except what we most need, the righteousness of God in our lives. And seeing this in ourselves, we feel that hunger and thirst, and ask God to give us both that hunger and thirst and its fulfillment. The outcome is this: we shall be filled, says our Lord, not by our righteousness, which is a lie and hypocrisy, but by the righteousness of God. He says to us, Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters, come to me and drink. Him that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. We shall be filled. This is the promise, for blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Matthew 5, 3-6.